Hi there, I'm Claire from Chancellor Coaching. Today let's talk about the King of Cups. Now the King of Cups creates his success through emotional discipline. He's somebody who has an amazing ability to tap into his emotions, to really feel what's going on around him. He's the type of person where people will typically lean into him because of his experience through life. He knows where he has a very quick ability to understand where they're coming from. And of course, when you need a shoulder to cry on, this is somebody that will really embrace you, bring his wings around you and hold you in that space. We know with the background there, and I'll go into that in a bit of detail, but he is somebody who's gone through a lot of hurt in his past. Maybe some rejection, feeling abandoned, that's all sitting there for him. And because he's experienced this kind of emotional pain, he knows the value of keeping his friends, his loved ones close. He's not someone who's going to shy away from his emotions. He's the type of person to express his pride in seeing others achieve. He's very, very reliable to have by your side. And he has an ability to trust his gut instinct, trust his intuition, and therefore help somebody else trust their intuition, which is so important, so valuable. If you've been knocked by life and feeling hurt, having someone there giving you that validation, trusting and encouraging you to get back up is a really, really beautiful person to have in your life. So when this card comes up in a relationship reading, he's somebody here who's committed to his love, committed to his children, committed to his family. He takes great pride in being the provider, and he wants the best for the people around him. He will very easily acknowledge his weaknesses, and that could be like a weakness where he has trouble reading, or a weakness where he doesn't feel intellectually smart. He'll acknowledge that, he'll let you know, but then at the same time he's going to need your help to make up for that, to really encourage his strengths. With this particular card, the team are just interjecting there saying, yeah, and he's really good at holding people's secrets. So in a relationship reading, this card coming up really means that there's a container or a connection here of love that needs to be admired and adored. If you're single, then this card represents, wanting to, craving that person. Maybe something's happened in the past where, you needed to rely on your dad, and you still want to manifest that kind of connection with your new partner, that reliability. The spirit world here will be emphasizing that this is a really, really valuable thing to move towards. This card in reverse, however, represents somebody who's not feeling enough. The history of rejection, the memories of the past are really flooding, and they're having a hard time, anxiety going through the roof, feeling uncertain, feeling stuck, feeling heartbroken, and it's going to start showing up in your health in your health, especially when it comes to like that grief of just like, I don't even know where to turn. Again, if this card shows up in reverse, just remind the sitter that the spirit world is there, backing them up, helping them open doors, but they need to let their team, their guides, know that they need the help. With free will and the way that the spirit world works, they're not allowed to interfere unless we actually put our hand up and say, okay, I need help. And then it's our job to be aware, to be open to the opportunities coming our way. Like, okay, thank you, spirit world, for hearing me. But if you don't reach out for help, and this card comes up in a health reading, typically it's going to represent people with hearing problems, like resistance to hear people sort of trigger you, impact you. It can indicate a sense of like doubting your abilities, which will come up in like your elbows, rashes with your elbows, with not being able to hold your boundaries, claim your emotional space, hold that aura around you. So it's going to start showing up in your skin, especially your elbows. It's going to come up possibly with sort of sexual issues, not feeling important, not feeling valued, not knowing how to tap back into that creative energy because there's so much grief going on. And it could come up with like a hair loss, believe it or not. I just heard the team say that long-term stress and that inability to connect back into your intuition because the human world has pulled down, drained you so much. Again, that's reverse, and that's health side of things. Now, if we have a look at the detail in this card, let's go into every single thing here with the symbology. So the fish there, the fish, especially around his neck there on the chain, represents his goals that he holds close to him. His goals are important to him, whether he wants to write a book, whether he wants to get people up on stage, whether he wants to, put himself on stage, be a speaker, be a leader, all of those kingly authority kind of roles to take. He holds those quite close to his chest there. The rough waters in the background represent that he has gone through turbulent times, like massive ups and downs, and he's really struggled to find balance in his life. But when he does find that solid foundation, he stays firm in knowing that that's his pedestal. The blue cloth that he wears tells us again that he thinks deeply. At the end of the day, he's just going to want to chill out in his armchair, really reflect, connect in with his guides, or connect in with his intuition, connect in with his goals. And that blue cloth there tells us that he's very in touch with his ability to reflect and to communicate that. He's holding that staff there, which is the symbol of masculine power. So he does take great pride in that masculine, in the ability to provide and to be the protector. When we see the grey background, he hasn't really worked through his emotional blocks. That's still there with the uncertainty that's going on. Am I coming or going? Am I staying here? Am I moving? The greyness there is going to emphasize that this person knows how to manage their emotional blocks rather than actually going to a coach or a healer and actually resolving them. He has a great strength of being able to trust himself, embracing what comes. So if we are just checking in with the team, and they're saying here that little boat in the background, the little red boat, represents, the vessel, our body going through those rough waters. How do we carry ourselves? Are we going to allow ourselves to sink or float or get to our destination? Are we going to make sure we put ourselves out there into the world when the tides are calm? Or are we going to ignore the cycles of life and just go full force? So there's a lot going on in this card. If it comes up in a reading, really all it's asking us to do is to get in touch with our emotions. Where are they in the body? What do they want us to know? How do we resolve those emotions that have been holding us back, the fear, the grief? How do we resolve those so that we can get back to that emotional creative discipline to use the weaknesses of the past to be our strengths of the future? This card's a beautiful one. It doesn't necessarily represent the masculine male. It can come up for a female, and you just got to trust your guides, trust your intuition when you see this card. Okay, there's a sense here of emotional success through discipline. I hope that helps everybody, and I will talk to you later.